Hi there, this is Aude. I know lots of you are struggling to use adjectives in French because it's really hard to understand how they work. In this video, we're going to practice using real-life conversation. Let's get started. So first, we're going to have a look at some patterns and how to agree an adjective in French. Most of the time, when you've got an adjective that ends with a consonant, you're going to add an E for feminine and an S for plural. If it's feminine and plural, you're going to add an E and an S. This is very easy so far, but of course there are lots of different patterns that you need to learn. Let's have a look at a few of them. When you've got a masculine adjective ending with EUX, the feminine is going to be EUSE. You can also have some adjective ending in EUR and the feminine would be the same. You've got other adjectives that ends with IF and the feminine will be IVE. And let's have a look at some of them that ends with vowels. If you've got a masculine adjective that ends with an I or a U, you're going to add an E for a feminine adjective. And what if we've got some of them ending with an E already? Then you're lucky guys, those ones are not going to change. Masculine or feminine, they're going to be exactly the same. But remember, if you want to put them plural, then you'll have to add an S. Let's have a look at some examples in context, just to make sure that you understand how this adjective works in French. Comment est ta fille? Elle est sérieuse, sportive, mais aussi très têtue. Et ton fils? Il est assez créatif, généreux et toujours poli. If you want to learn more on how to describe family members or friends, check out that video. In the first example, you can see that as we are talking about a girl, ta fille, your daughter, we need to make sure that all the adjectives agree in the feminine way. We need to make sure that we know the patterns to agree each adjective with the word fille, daughter. Let's have a look at the word têtu, which means stubborn. This one is a bit particular because of the pronunciation. The pronunciation is not going to change if you have the feminine version or the masculine version. Têtu without an E is pronounced exactly the same. Time to practice, guys. Comment est ta fille? Et ton fils? Okay, you're thinking, that's not too bad. I know my patterns. I know how to agree the adjectives for masculine, feminine, plural. The problem is we've got lots of irregular adjectives in French. And they're adjectives that you're using in everyday life conversation. So we need to make sure that we know some of them. Let's have a look at the first two ones here. The first one is the adjective for beautiful. And the second one is the adjective for new. And you can notice that here we've got lots of different versions of the adjective. I'm going to explain that. Okay, beautiful. Beau is the masculine adjective, but we've got another masculine one, belle, B-E-L. This one is going to be used when you've got a noun starting with a vowel and a silent H. Beau, if you want to use it with a word starting with a consonant, and belle, if you want to start with a word with a vowel or a silent H. And the feminine version would be belle, but written E-double-L-E. Belle masculine and belle feminine are pronounced the same. And it's exactly the same pattern with the adjective new, nouveau. Nouveau, masculine. Nouvelle, EL, masculine too, but used with a vowel or a silent H. And nouvelle, E-double-L-E, for a feminine noun. Here is only a very short list of irregular adjectives, and let's have a look at two more. Long, which is obviously long. Be careful, we are not pronouncing that final G for the masculine version. And long, here we do hear the final consonant, and we need to add an U before adding the E. Long, masculine. Longue, feminine. And the last one, which is a color, I'm sure we recognize this one, it's white. Blanc for masculine and blanche, H-E, for feminine. One more time, it's going to be much easier for you to understand how this adjective works in a real-life conversation. Tu habites où? J'habite dans un nouvel appartement. Il est comment? C'est un bel appartement en ville. Tu aimes ta ville? Oui, c'est une belle ville avec des vieux monuments. You can see that depending on the noun, we need to make sure that our adjectives agree with them. Let's have a look at just the first one. Un nouvel appartement. I'm using nouvelle, EL, masculine version, because appartement is masculine, and it starts with a vowel. Time to practice, guys. Tu habites où? Il est comment? Tu aimes ta ville? Before we practice together, writing practice, I need to have a look with you at the other problem with adjectives. In French, some of the adjectives are placed after the noun they are describing, and some others are placed before the noun they are describing. I know it sounds crazy, but let's have a look at that together. Okay, what you need to remember is that most adjectives are placed after the noun they are describing in French. So, for example, if you want to say, I have a black cat, in French you're going to say, I have a cat black. I know it's very strange, but that's the way it is in French. But the problem is, some of them are placed before the noun they are describing. The word bags, it's just to make sure that you're going to remember which one are those adjectives. B is for beauty, A for age, G for goodness, and S for size. One more time, let's make sure that you understand how it works, just having a look at a real-life conversation. Comment est ta maison? J'ai une grande maison blanche. Elle est récente? Non, c'est une très vieille maison. Et ton jardin? On a un joli petit jardin. On habite une belle rue calme. You can see in these examples there are some adjectives placed before the noun they are describing and some after. Let's have a look at the first one. Une grande maison blanche. Grande is the word for big, and that's an adjective which is describing the size. Grande. So it's going to be put before the word maison. It got an E at the end because maison is feminine. And afterwards, we've got the adjective blanche. Remember, this one is an irregular one. Blanche is a normal adjective. Look, so like most adjectives, they place after the noun they are describing. Une grande maison blanche. Let's have a look at the last example here. Un joli petit jardin. Here, my two adjectives are placed before the word jardin, which is garden. Joli, because it's an adjective to describe beauty. And petit, because it's an adjective to describe the size of the garden. Time to practice, guys. Comment est ta maison? Elle est récente? Et ton jardin? Now it's time to have a little practice just to make sure that you do understand how to use adjectives in French. So I would advise you to put a little pause on the video and to have a look at those adjectives, and let's make sure that you're having a look in the brackets to know what you need to agree in these adjectives. Let's check your answers, guys. I'm going to read them out loud, then you can also practice on pronunciation. Tu es comment? Je suis courageuse et aussi créative, mais je ne suis pas patiente. Je pense que je suis sympa et polie, mais pas du tout sportive. A second writing practice for you guys, just to make sure that you know how to use these adjectives in French. Now, let's check your answers. Comment est ta ville? C'est une vieille et grande ville charmante. Comment est ta maison? C'est une nouvelle et petite maison blanche. Comment est ton appartement? C'est un bel et vieil appartement calme. If you're struggling with grammar or how to use verbs in French, check out the other videos I've made. And don't forget to subscribe to make sure that you're not missing any videos. À bientôt! Non, c'est pas ça. Toujours pas ça.